about life hacks, problems people have, going to Gen AI to try and find the answers. And unfortunately, in America and many countries, particularly cities at the moment, it can be very difficult for anyone under the age of 30, sometimes 40 or 50, to buy their own home. So if I am an American with capital A, in my, I'm going to say 40s, because it really is getting later and later, in my 40s, and I earn, sorry, just get the dollars, $100 annually. How can I buy my own home in a US city, preferably New York State? Okay, pretty challenging, I know, but that's the whole thing. We're here to challenge it. So let's see what it can do. Claude's getting all of the questions at the moment. So $100 is quite a lot. So if you're in your 40s and you're earning $100,000 annual and you want to buy a home in New York State, here's a practical approach. Okay, preparation, financial preparation. Save for a down payment. Wow, aim for at least 10 to 20% more so in competitive markets. So you're talking about having, a down payment of 10 to 20,000. That's quite hard to save. Check your credit score. Aim for 700 plus for better mortgage rates. And this is where you've got to be really careful about, gambling or not making your credit card payments in time, or, buy now, pay later. All of these things can kind of go against you, particularly credit score, and you can check it out. Reduce debt, so your debt to income ratio, and you want to keep your debt at under 36%. Basically, if you're trying to get a mortgage, you have to get your house in order financially. Excuse the pun by getting your house in order, but it's the truth. And get pre-approved, so it shows to a seller that you're serious, that you've got your mortgage lined up and ready to go. And we're going to look at this on another video about, look, if there's going to be a global recession, should I wait to buy? Because that's really important. You're going to, if you're in your 30s, you're going to be 35 years paying off your mortgage. If you wait a couple of years, if it's possible to rent, could you get a house price at a lower cost? So we'll ask the same question in regard to a house price for New York State if there's been a global recession. So then you got to look at different locations, because you might consider areas out of New York City, like Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany. You might have commutable suburbs. Now, this is where your work-life balance starts coming into play if you're spending a lot of time commuting. And then definitely looking at up-and-coming neighborhoods, areas that mightn't have been so salubrious, and suddenly people are buying them up. There are home buying programs. This is very good now, giving down payment assistance, the New York State First Time Home Buyers Program. There's the Sanma, very hard to pronounce, State of New York Mortgage Agency, FHA loans and VA loans if you're a veteran. So really good. Practical steps. Determine your budget. Typically 3 to 4 times your annual income. So we're looking about 300 to 400,000. Don't think we're going to get much in that price range. Then we have to find neighborhoods that would have properties for sale on that price range. Then we have to get in touch with estate agents who don't really like doing a whole lot of the work and want you to do it. Consider housing types beyond single family homes, maybe a condo, etc. But only if that's going to work for you kind of long term, and calculate the cost. So things like property tax, particularly insurance and maintenance. So wow, if you're on your own and you're earning 100,000, it is not that easy. So that's a hell of a lot of work we got to put in before we can get our home. Sorry for the bad news, but hey, there could be a global recession and house prices might go down. That's the positive side.